Hey kids, this is hexrayvision coming to you live from Caesar's Palace Resort Hotel and Casino in Las Vegas, Nevada, after a weekend with the Hexicans and the Pulsicans. I'm joined with three, maybe four guests or more as this stream progresses. And I'll let them introduce themselves, just going clockwise, starting with Mr. Fast Abdul. Take it away. Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. So thanks for having me, sir. I'm the founder of Two Fucks, which is the convex fork for the Pulse chain. We're building on top of the PHUX exchange to give people better yields and superior voting power. So we're probably about a month and a half out from launch. We're just at the end of our sacrifice phase right now.
Awesome.
Hey everybody, this is Briz. You guys know me as Brizology on Twitter. And hexrayvision, just FYI, I think you have a comment up on the...
Yeah. It's showing me what a comment would look like if I put it on screen.
Okay, just making sure that you know.
I'm going to just throw a comment on screen to get rid of that.
What was that?
I'm just going to throw a comment on screen to get rid of the how to comment on screen.
Nice. Yeah, just I'm Briz. I'm on Brizology on Twitter, and I'm just doing some victory laps today.
Hey everyone.
Victory laps. Oh, did you want? I was going to see if you wanted to get into that anymore.
We'll let the next guest introduce himself, and we can.
Okay.
What's up, everybody? My name's Swizzle Sticks. You can call me Swizzle. I am not a stripper. You know what the name may sound like, but yeah, I'm happy to be here. It's my first stream. Long-time lurker. You probably see me in the crowds on Spaces quite a bit, and generally stalking Trap online.
Sweet. Thanks for introducing yourself. We've known Swizzle for quite a while, and for some reason I thought we've already been streaming, but I looked at our DMs and I was like, oh, let's get this guy on here. We've got Red Squirrel saying, Fast looking very bland today. We've got RH. Oh, there we go. Fixed. RH Max says, man, today is boring AF.
You got your SoMe hat on, huh, Fast?
Jonathan Paul's in the house. He says, yo. RH Max says, please tell us exciting stuff.
Well, looks like EHEX is dead, everybody. EHEX is dead. No, I'm just joking, guys. I'm just joking. Nothing goes to zero in crypto. Nothing truly goes to zero. BitConnect is still worth something, right?
Okay. There could be two sides to that story. You know, like we got a 50% dump on EHEX because Richard announced that PHEX is better. But you know, what game is he playing? That's the question.
In my opinion, just what I think is I believe Richard has spent millions of dollars over the last couple years and spent years developing a new blockchain called the Pulse chain. And I don't know why, but I think he prefers that one. And I think he prefers all his users to use the chain he just spent millions of dollars developing for us. That's just that's just kind of what I think. I might be wrong, but I don't know. Something tells me about that tweet today. Tells me I'm probably not wrong. With that said, I just want to say, like, if anyone has bought the EHEX after the Pulse chain, like, I'm sorry. In my opinion, you should have been stacking up the Hex on Pulse chain if you're going to be buying Hex, in my opinion. But with all that said, I still believe that EHEX is still going to go back to all-time highs. In fact, tell you the truth, I've been seeing so many people rage selling it today. I think it has way more of a chance to go back to all-time highs now after today than I did before. So I'm actually kind of still bullish on EHEX.
Yep. Like at these prices, like better than 50% off, right? Like it's like that's quite the deal. It's irrational, right? So like when people make irrational decisions with their crypto, there's blood in the streets. That's like I think today might be a day to buy EHEX. Because it's like there's still value there. It's immutable, nothing's going away. Like it will be here in 50 years. So man.
Did you guys see that arbitrage opportunity between Hex on Ethereum and Hex on Pulse Chain? It was like pretty significant, and it wasn't quick. Like you could have taken your time. It was like 50 cent, or like what was it, 0.05 on Ethereum, and it was still sitting at like 0.07 on Pulse Chain. So you could have easily snatched up some on Ethereum, bridged it over, and then sold, and then take that nice little arbitrage there. But I think it's, I'm trying to look right now. I think it's settled, but it was there for a while. The arbitrage bots weren't, I don't think, configured to go take care of that.
I'd like to address Elisa Barnley in the comment section.
Let's do it.
She's saying that Richard is a scumbag for screwing over long-term stakers. People who held liquid got to dump it. Well, the truth is that all those long-term stakers had their stakes copied over onto the Pulse chain, so they haven't lost a single hex. They have twice as much hex. So, if you're, before Pulse chain launched, like no one had as much hex as they do now, right? Like, all my hex got copied over. So, he didn't screw over long-term stakers. Everyone had their hex copied over. And, it's the market is doing it to itself. I highly doubt it's Richard dumping EHEX right now. I guarantee you it's all the over-emotional people dumping and early end staking their bags. The penalties today, have you guys seen the penalties today? They were over 11 million, or no, it was 11 hex per T-share. I'm checking it right now.
What's a site we can go to see like what the projected payout might be?
Hexstats.today.
Hexstats.
With an S at the
So
end.
of course, the people who remain staked are getting a boost, right? Today is a good day to be staked in EHEX in a lot of ways.
12.2 hex per T-share.
Dang, that's
the current payout. 101.8 million hex in penalties from early end staking.
Nice. RH Max asks, should I sell my E Lambo for a P Lambo? Will the dealership still have enough liquidity?
Not today.
Not today.
Maybe tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think like this is a real opportunity. Like, what if the next tweet Richard comes out with is, hey, look at the value on Ethereum. If you're staking more than 1 million hex at a time, this is a better deal, right? Like, obviously if you're staking, $500 with a hex, then Ethereum sucks balls. But like, if you're staking $10,000, $20,000 with a hex, which you can buy for half price as of this second, then that's an awesome deal. Like you could be running, 30-day stakes on Ethereum with $50,000 and, making bank at these rates.
Yeah. Another point to consideration is, both contracts are immutable. So you can't make any changes to it. Mm-hmm. And as we all know, the T-share system and how that works based on, usage. So if Pulse Chain is going to be used a lot more now, that T-share is going to wrap it up a lot faster. And people are going to be looking over EHEX like, wow, it's still a really cheap T-share. So, with long enough time, like time frame, who knows, the T-share system could be balancing out these two contracts over time. I no, it's not going to be quick. It'll be probably years, but it'll be interesting to sort of monitor that and start seeing it to really start deviate. Where may want to go snatch up those really cheap T-shares on Ethereum. But they got to solve that gas fee first. So, but
well, this problem has already been solved. Like some gas fee things are taken care of. Like the Magic Carpet Ride guys have like where everybody can stake together on Ethereum. Like that's the nature of their project, and so that everybody can unstake together and pay one fee. There's the Maximus DAO guys, obviously have solved that problem with their 15-year stakes on both Ethereum and Pulse Chain that are tokenized. So like to say that, oh no, the gas fee problem, it's like, well, we've kind of solved that. I'm pretty sure Alex from Hedron Icosa, his Icosa Hedron V2 is going to have, I don't think it's about staking. I think it's more about liquidity providing, but like he'll have partially solved how people cannot pay fees on Ethereum for participating with eHex. So like this is all kind of done already. I'm sure there'll be other improvements, but like, it's not, the cup is definitely half full in my opinion. And the top half may just come back to what it was yesterday in, a week from now.
Who knows? I mean, I'm excited to see what Alex is cooking.
For sure.
I think he's been pretty cryptic about it, and he just had a tweet. It's like, they need to reevaluate things. Things have changed. He's probably going to run a bajillion models. We probably won't hear back from him for about a month. But I'm not 100% sure. But I thought I vaguely saw that he mentioned that staking eHex will be possible on the Pulse chain side. So if that's true, I'm really interested to understand how that works and how he's able to eliminate the gas fee or at least reduce it. I can't think of how it would, but it'll be cool to see that.
Yeah.
We've got Crypto Dave in the chat. Jeff Barbie, can we all move forward now? Hang on. He says looking forward to the bonuses. Archie does, and then Sylvan says T-share price in Hex rises faster on Ethereum because the yield there is higher. So that'll be going faster for now. Sometimes Hex Force One says sometimes the best move is no move, and Kirby Vicario thinks that Richard's just trying to shake out the BankX scammer. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, I don't know how that really shakes out BankX. I mean, they were just kind of holding on to their coins for the most part. So yeah, I mean, unless they're getting freaked out that eHex is going to keep going down and down and down, and so now they're going to start selling. I don't know. I don't see it.
Yeah, so when PHEX is used more, the T-share price actually grows slower than on Ethereum. I'm not sure if that's how it actually works out.
I don't think that's how it works. T-shares go up in price when people stake and unstake. So if people are going to be using PHEX more because gas fees are cheaper and you're going to be staking, I think there'll be a lot more rolling stakes too. So that's going to ratchet up T-shares faster. People are not going to be using eHex as much because of the gas fees. Therefore, the T-share won't be ratcheting up as fast.
So what I think probably happened, well, what happens is like if you do a 30-day rolling stake, the T-shares are going to increase a little bit every time you unstake, just so you have to either put in more or stake longer to get the same amount of T-shares. Now, the T-shares are higher on Ethereum because I believe people are doing more 30-day short-term stakes because they're a lot cheaper to process than much longer stakes. And so I that's why I believe the T-share rate is higher on Ethereum. It's just more people are doing 30-day rolling stakes.
Yeah, so the T-share price is updated more on Ethereum.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess right now it is a little higher, but yeah, that's interesting to me. I feel like my honest opinion, I feel like T-share rate will ratchet up faster on Pulse Chain. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. But
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, but that has been ratcheting up faster on Ethereum.
Okay.
So,
Cool. He says he can send us a picture. He has it explained there. We'll take it. I'm not sure where to send the picture right now, though. Mudhog says BankX may rope. LOL. I think they mean rug. DJ Moonboy, what's up? Yellowtail, what's up? He says I have it all simulated and calculated. It's not what you believe. It is what the facts are. So we'll have to check that out. Luna C Point is in the house. Hello, gentlemen. We had a
Point.
hell of a time here in Vegas. Kaylin,
So how is it out there right
Black
now?
Mexican. It's good. It's been really good. The first couple days I didn't go to some of the events as I was just getting to town, but the seminar was really, really good. We had some good panels with BitBoy and DIY Crypto, kind of explaining why they want to get more involved in the Pulse and Hex community, and really why they started streaming in the first place. Access Alive brought a whole army of fans and cult members that were wearing his T-shirts and stickers everywhere, and he gave a really, really good explanation of where he thinks some of this economic energy is heading into this bull. So that was mind blowing. But just Kaylin put on some of the best events. Karaoke was a blast. We had our private rooms, really good food, really good drinks.
What song did you sing?
I helped sing Bohemian Rhapsody.
Nice.
My wife sang Ice Ice Baby, but it was pretty interesting. I think the best song of the night was Snoreflex, Crypto Coffee, and Bitcoin Ben singing Forgot About Dre, rapping the whole thing of Forgot About Dre. That was pretty epic.
Man, I hope that was recorded. I want to see that.
I've got a clip of it. I don't know if we can tell what they're saying, but it's pretty good. It's pretty good. And then we had a really good time at the dance club that she got last Friday night. And then last night, a bunch of us went out to Omnia here at Caesars. You guys ever been to Omnia?
Yep.
No.
That's
Yeah.
Is that big chandelier in the middle?
Yeah.
I recognize that. I saw SJ post something on Twitter, and I was like, that looks really familiar.
Yeah, if you go on Twitter, I think she was taking some videos of it, but the whole chandelier falls from the sky, rotates, moves. There's people like dancers dropping from the sky on wires, spinning and dancing in midair. It's pretty crazy. It's probably one of my favorite clubs.
I want to know what Swizzle Stick's go-to karaoke song is.
Oh gosh, I hate karaoke.
It looks like it would be
I will not
Carry
jump
On My
the mic at all.
Wayward Son.
It'd probably be like a Beastie Boys song or something. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah. Rage Against the Machine is pretty easy to sing. There's not a lot of singing in that one.
More like shouting.
Shouting Against the Machine. EFJ Lancey says, I think this is just a way for Richard to say the OA will not likely support EHEX in a financial way. So the market can now do whatever it likes to do. And then Sylvan comes back, says T-share price rises when users claim yield. It rises just as much so that one cannot get more T-shares for the price plus yield, because the yield is lower when there is more staked.
Regarding EFJ Lance,
yes,
saying that the OA will likely not support EHEX in a financial way. I can see that. I can see that maybe the OA does not plan on sending any sacrifice funds to the EHEX side. But with that said, because of liquidity bonding, I don't think the EHEX is going to be dead in any way. Like I said, I truly believe even now EHEX can still go to all-time highs, just from liquidity bonding. But if that's the case, then I also expect PHEX to go way beyond 50 cents. I could see PHEX at like $2 or maybe even higher, and then EHEX at 50 cents or so. So if you have, in my opinion, if you have EHEX, I wouldn't be selling it right now. I feel like it's still undervalued. I'm holding on to mine. I'm not selling it. I'm not dumping it. I'm not even trading it for PHEX because I don't like the ratios. So I'm just holding on to it. I think you're muted.
Is it Anthropos says RH is well hunting, cough, Bank X. And then someone says the yield might be claimed more frequently. So the T-share rate might be, might overall, but the T-share rises more when where the most yield is. Let's see here. Of course, Lena C. Point says, I'm not selling red candles. That's a good idea. RTS says, I agree, Briss. The bonding will keep EHEX going, maybe half the price of PHEX. Both hexes are cheap AF. And Mudhawk says, Briz for the win.
Thank you, sir.
So you got that one. And we have another guest joining us today. You may recognize him from such shows as Cryptographics, his channel. How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm good. I'm sorry I got messed up with the daylight savings time, but I'm here. I made it. Thanks for having me.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. It's been a while. It's cool to see all you guys here. I think Briz, I know we've met other guys. I haven't met you. What are your names? It's Fast Abdul. Oh, it's Fast Abdul. There's the names. Oh, dude, bro. There you go. Okay, yeah. Good to see you in person. And Swizzle? Is that you?
What's going on?
Oh, cool. That's how I'm just making sure I'm pronouncing that right. Sweet. Cool.
Yep.
Love
Yeah.
man.
Awesome. We were just going over the differences between the two pairs in Richard's tweet this morning.
Okay.
And some of the fire cells and panic that's been going on with EHEX. Now, you can buy EHEX on Pulse, right? They have a wrapped EHEX on Pulse.
Yep.
They're about the same price now. It was cheaper on Ethereum for a while, but like Swizzle said, it's about the same at the moment, give or take, 10%.
Yeah, there was a nice arbitrage event, and it sat there for a while.
Yeah, I think.
What do you think, Cryptographics? What do you think of Richard's tweet today?
Oh man, I think there's so much. It's funny because I wasn't expecting to come outright and say it. I was thinking that, hey Luna, I was expecting the crowd to have to read between the lines and, eventually, just see where the money's flowing. And if maybe Richard didn't put economic energy through, or maybe not Richard, the OA or the SAC wallets didn't really go through, put money into EHEX, maybe that would be the signal. I was not expecting him to just be like, all right, this one's better. That one sucks. I really wasn't expecting him to say that. So, I mean, man, it's tough because there was, I know, Briz, you were a big component for PHEX, and I know a lot of guys were big on PHEX, and it's cool because I know it's good in one sense where, like, kudos to you guys. You guys read between the lines and you guys saw like, okay, this is what I see in the future, and here we are. But it also sucks on one hand because it's like, man, you have all these people now that literally just lost a shit ton of value essentially in their portfolio, and if they want to come over, they are going to get far less hex, so it's a tough one. You got a winner and loser scenario, and that always is never fun, especially when we're part of the same team, really.
I kind of feel like, because I was here when day one of Hex, right, back in December 3rd, 2019. And I'm kind of seeing a very similar thing being played out, is that, we had this very long time to get into the adoption amplifier and or the sacrifice. And we had ample time, and now that it launched, it kind of feels like, I don't know, I don't want to say Richard, but it just feels like the price of RH assets were held down for almost a whole year. When Hex first launched, actually, probably wasn't even held down that long when Hex launched, but it just feels like everything was held down after launch so people could keep getting into this. And now it's been a year, and now it's kind of like, all right, everyone had their chance to get in. Now, you either got in and now you're being left behind and you're on the ride, or you didn't get in, now you're going to be left behind.
Yeah, Motley says that's because the community can't pick up on all the hints. Signs were everywhere. And Sylvan says maybe I should revive and re-audit my never launched project. Carpe diem savings, not to be confused with the pension. It lets stakers use eHex and other tokens. Only downside, the only yield comes from emergency end stakes. And then Motley says that's not true. You got a copy of everything. It's a shame. So many encouraged buying cheap hex. This is why people need to think for themselves. Stop letting others do it for them.
Or let me think for you guys.
Yeah, that's the group thing for us.
I'm just joking.
I'm down with that.
Hey, I mean, lately you would have helped those people out, because I mean, you would pump an ink, vocally, and that's been doing pretty well. You've been an ink maxi lately.
That's true.
So I mean, hey, maybe I should be listening to you. Maybe I should just just change my channel to, I don't even know, Briz Graphics. I don't know.
I felt a little shameful, kind of promoting ink, because it was just like $80, $40, $10, 50 cents. I'm like, dude, I don't know how much more this is going down. And so, but then it just went the other way. And then Richard's like, oh, check this out. This is a really good meme coin. I just thought that was pretty funny. And how it must really upset a lot of actual meme coiners. And so I just called the #1 meme coin on Pulse Chain, just because I kind of think it's funny and a little trolly.
Yeah. Well, Mudhog says, in my opinion, Hex on Pulse Chain is about to explode. I think we've seen a lot of pressure building on the Pulse chart and little pops here and there, right? So it's got that economic energy's got to go somewhere as we ramp up for this next year.
I would agree. What do you guys think? Because I mean, Hex, we got PLSX and Ink that have been, you could say pumped. Hex hasn't really been. You guys think Hex is next, or Hex is just going to be the one that's naturally going to go because of the way things are going at the moment?
So I have an opinion on this. I try to put myself as if I had control of all the money that RH and the OA has, and what would I do? Right. And personally, what I would do, just to get all the degenerate candle chasers, you all know who you are out there, you degenerate candle chasers. But what I would do is probably pump each asset individually, starting with ink. Get people to start chasing that ink candle. They're going to sell the thing that hasn't pumped for the thing that just went up 13x. And now that they get into the ink, maybe start pumping up, PHEX, and then pump up PLS after that. Get people trying to chase those candles, and then eventually pump up PLSX last, because the most people got into it. But I think that's probably the smart thing to do, is to pump up these assets individually, get the degenerate gamblers running around chasing, not making that much gains, and then before you know it, everything's just pumped up beyond belief.
Shout out to Takeza. Crypto Butler says Ivan will like this. I wonder if he means Ivan on tech or a different Ivan. Big Jeezy says beers and pros would be the Briz way. JK. And then Kirby says I feel misled because PulseX had P-Hex, E-Hex farm, so I thought Richard wanted both to be succeed, and then he wrote the farm. Beers and bros, swizzle sticks. Yeah, I don't know.
Beers and bros.
I try to do everything I possibly can on Pulse Chain because of the fees. You know, I had to pay someone in crypto last week, and I wanted to send them just $100 at first to make sure I got the address right before I sent the full amount. It's $50 to send $100. Like, in what universe does that make sense as finance? Except for if you're moving at least $5,000 to $10,000 at a time, which that's not normal. So I can totally see the move to Pulse Chain, and I think that Pulse Chain and Richard and his team are going to be more reactive and quick to fix problems when congestion comes to Pulse Chain than Ethereum was, because Ethereum is like, we're making money no matter how fast, smooth, and cheap our stuff is. So why they're not really under the gun to fix it, as we can see. So that's kind of why I like putting as many of my eggs in the Pulse Chain basket as possible.
Wait, you guys are
What do you
making
guys think
money?
about that? What's that?
You guys are making money?
Sometimes on accident.
Dude, I have not made money on Hex yet. Still down.
Yeah, Ivan on Tech never liked there being two hexes. And then McSlammin says, how long before Banter has an entire episode on eHex bubble?
Oh God.
I always figured Richard took away that EHEX PHEX farm because it was probably generating more money than staking Hex. And so it's kind of like, why even have Hex if you can just make more money farming it? Why stake it, right? Almost kind of kill the use case of Hex. And so maybe that's why he got rid of it.
Didn't it like sort of start a lot of people to start emergency on end staking?
I think that was also a big thing. People were emergency end staking all of their Hex to move it into the farm because it was just, you can make a lot more money by farming it.
I think it was like 300 and some percent for a little while there. And I remember seeing just like Twitter was just loaded with the Hex whale bot, just Hex stake nuked, Hex stake nuked, Hex stake ES, like over like 2 days. It was crazy to watch.
And Motley, the sixth member on this panel, says he quickly moved it. He moved it quickly after a launch when he realized the market had chosen a more valuable Hex. If he left it up, a lot of you would have been way more wrecked. No matter, he says, no, that wasn't it, Briz. If that was the case, he would have removed all the farms, or you would have removed all the farms. Bro, you guys have to use that gray matter between your ears.
Whoa. Whoa, who says we have gray matter between our ears?
And active emaciated is in the house in the afternoon all. Yeah, I think if there really is, because I mean, take for instance, this isn't the same at all, but we had Ethereum and Ethereum Classic back in the day, right? So they had the DAO hack, and Ethereum said redo button, and they moved on. And then Ethereum Classic is like, no, code is law. If you guys made a bug, you should pay for it. And if you look back, Ethereum Classic's pretty much dead compared to, like, there's not really a comparison between the two Ethereums, right? And so if one hex goes with a much better system that's designed for its, functions, then it kind of makes sense that it would be the winner in the long run. But it's crypto.
I was on a space like 2 days ago, and there was an Ethereum Classic Maxi, and it was nuts. Him trying to explain his case, but there's still some of the people out there that really support that chain.
I would like to also make note that when the sacrifice was going on, Richard strongly implied any hex sent to the sacrifice will probably never be sold ever again by the OA. With that said, half the supply of hex went into the sacrifice. So only half the supply is on the pulse chain side. Well, I mean, half the supply is available, that didn't go to the sacrifice address. So only half the supply is available. If we all concentrated our purchases on just say the PHEX side, it could pump twice as hard, maybe like 4 times as hard than EHEX did.
It's pumping pretty hard right now.
There'll be some math where like there is a balance, and like right now we have that 50% decrease. Does that really make sense? Like probably not. So I would think in the next, I think we're already up 30% or something on PHEX. I bet you that gets up to 50%, and I bet you EHEX moves up 50% from its current position. Not financial advice, but I think, since we've already solved these staking cost problems, and we have Hex bridged over to the Pulse chain, and you can make money farming Hex in multiple ways, like on the Fux exchange, for example, with the Maximus DAO products, there's some really good farming options that basically is farming Hex. Right now it's undervalued. So I think people should take a close look and not press the buy or sell button without understanding the overall game that's being played. Because when you're talking Ethereum gas fees are high, but you can just buy Maximus DAO products that are bridged over, or if you're staking, $10,000 worth of Hex, well, what for 6 months or a year, what does the Ethereum gas price really matter? Not as much. So there's something to think about here. There's an opportunity. I can't say exactly what it is, but there's definitely an opportunity, and it may not be the obvious one.
I just want to say something I just noticed was that, say, like yesterday, we had a combined price of 3 cents for EHEX PHEX, 2 cents PHEX, 1 cent EHEX. As of right now, we have a combined price of 3 cent hex, 0.5 cent, and 2.5 cent. So, no one lost anything really.
Well, some people lost something.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Some
Yeah.
people, you're right. You're right. Some people did lose, but
I think the people who bought the dip this morning, those people might be happy in a very short time frame. I could be wrong. Maybe there's another big dip coming, but it seems pretty irrational to me. I see value. What do you guys think?
I agree, because even if EHEX is the lower priced one of them, if we hit the bull run and EHEX only goes back to 10 cents from here, that's a pretty good profit,
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you guys think?
I agree. Not so much on a short term, but more just long term. With Hex, I think it's a good play if you're willing to wait a while. I think you'll do well.
And it's not just Hex. It's like the Maximus products, Icosa, like Hedron, all that stuff is attached to Hex. So you have like varying levels of irrational selling or buying in all these products, and they all have ratios that should be maintained. So like how much is Hex to from Ethereum to Maxi from Ethereum, and then you have 2 chains to consider, right? So when you're doing Hex to Maxi, you have 4 different tokens to consider and what those ratios should be. So like, yeah, like, game on. It's a shopping day. Consider shopping. Check your prices before you buy. Use your coupons.
Use your coupons, people.
Yeah. Like the Deci price, for example, is like, I've seen today you could buy Deci for like a 30% discount on Hex on Ethereum. It's like, it doesn't make sense, right? You can't buy a ton because there's not the liquidity, but like, yeah, I bought a couple grand because why would you not?
Yeah, I haven't even looked at the perpetuals on
Yeah.
Ethereum. I mean, I think those are still great.
Yeah. It solves, and then that's your staking problem. It's already solved. So like, okay, if those dip,
probably a nice deal right now.
Yeah. Like if Maxi is less than Hex at any point in time, like I am loading up.
Yeah, Maxi's a very undervalued project sometimes.
Yeah.
Curry says eHex can pump much easier now, less weak hands, spikes in the house. ETH gas fees are just too stupid. But Swizzle, you were saying earlier that it's 30 cents a swap right now on Pulse Chain. Is that right?
Yep.
Because of all the activity that's bubbling over there.
Yep. It's 40 cents now. But when when Sack Daddy was pumping Pulse Chain the other night, it was $2 a swap. So our chain could get expensive too. Just wait till like the masses start coming over, and yeah, I mean it won't be nearly as expensive as Ethereum, but we have gas problems too.
Even if it was $10 though, we're still laughing, right? It's good times.
Yeah.
You seem like you're getting ripped off when you're paying like $3 though. You're like, oh my God, we're being attacked. What's happening?
I feel like I'm getting ripped off. I have to pay more than 3 cents.
So
Yeah, no, I remember I saw something like 16,000 PLS to make a transaction or do a swap or something. I'm all, what the hell? And then like I did the math and it was like $1. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, when the chain first launched, I was like, when I was playing around, I was like, oh my God, this is how much Pulse is this? No way, I don't want to pay this much. And then, like you said, once you do the math, it's like, oh, it's like nothing. Never mind.
The real part is when you do a swap or you do any kind of transaction on a hardware wallet, and it tells you, you have like 600, it costs 600 PLS, but inside like the ledger, it says, oh, it's going to cost you 600 ETH, just because that's what it says on the screen.
Yeah, Richard Hart messed up my Pulse Hex ratio with his tweet. I was in the process of rotating some Pulse into Hex. Now everyone's rotated into Hex. Bitbump says, can anyone wake up Furu Finance?
I was actually just thinking about him this morning, actually. I wonder if he's doing a dance somewhere right now.
Was this his call?
He had the whole PHEX stance along with me. He saw the tweets earlier. He made a really humble tweet saying now is not the time to rub it in. He said something else too. I stopped reading after that bull crap. I'm here to rub it in. Fuck you guys. No, I'm just joking. Sorry.
Hexmate says $50 fee to bridge from ETH to Pulse Chain. Did they turn the fees back on?
I think it's just gas, isn't it?
It's the gas fee.
It's still expensive to come across over.
Not
I
the
know
bridge
I did.
fee?
Yeah, I did a bridge the other sometime in the last week or so, and it was like $100 to come over. Obviously I didn't time it well in terms of peak gas times, but yeah, it can get expensive quick.
Yeah, opinions on doing EHEX, PHEX farm right now, most likely to even out because EHEX price. Maybe, I mean, you just avoid, if you start farming right now, you just avoided all the permanent loss of that sell, but, right? Fees out of Pulse are turned on. And, yeah, gas. Where's
So
fees turned on
Fees are
to
turned
exit?
on?
You see, I think they
going
turn it,
out?
well,
Sorry. So fees are turned on when you exit Pulse Chain. Okay. Interesting.
That's funny.
Yeah.
You want to leave? Fuck you. Pay me.
you've got to pay the trolls toll, man.
It should be like if you have hex in your wallet, there's no fee or something like that. Or something.
All right. Can I steer the conversation a little bit?
Do it.
All right. I wanna talk about something I just kind of discovered this week, and I think it's probably one of the greatest inventions on the blockchain since the DEX. And what I'm talking about is that Earn protocol that launched this week, which allows people to turn their PLSX into stable coins at a very small fee of 0.5%. Meaning, if you turn your PLSX into $20,000 of stable coins, you only pay $100 on that fee.
Who launched the protocol?
Frank, come on, man.
Power City.
Power City Earn
Yep.
protocol. I think it's super powerful. I'm actually so excited about this. Like, I man, I don't even know how to even explain this into words. I just think this can really save a lot of value on the Pulse chain. It's gonna allow people to exit the market without just completely obliterating the price. You leave 10% on the table, you throw that to the crypto gods, but it creates so much more value. And I think it's amazing. And one of the things I was actually kind of thinking about, I'm like, man, what if the OA took 1 trillion PLSX, which they have, and then took a loan out on 500 billion of those PLSXs. And when I did the math yesterday, that equaled 500 billion is about $40 million. And what if you took that 40 million of stable coins and just started market buying more PLSX? Like it removes a bunch of PLSX off the market, and then he starts market buying. That just pumps up the price even more, and it secures the collateralization of that 1 trillion. I just feel like the OA could probably do that multiple times. I don't understand the repercussions of just turning all of the PLSX into stable coins. I just feel like for some reason that's just wrong. Like it feels too easy. It feels like that shouldn't be allowed for some reason. But if all the stable coins are backed by PLSX, I just don't see. I can't see the issue with it from my perspective at this point.
Super interesting one. I love Earn too. As soon as it came out, I was pumped. I mean, I think you raise an interesting point. The OA could do that with Pulse too. I mean, they could go into liquid loans and be like, all right, here's however many trillion or a trillion Pulse, which, I mean, that's probably, double, I guess, whatever you get in PLS. So maybe $80 million that it would get in Pulse. I mean, that'd be insane. I guess the only thing, yeah, I mean, that's just like, oh, that's insane. But the only thing I would be concerned about is like, when it comes to, because this is something that I've considered, for myself, when you get to the point where obviously you're at the top of the bull run, you want to exit, you want to do it right. So you use Earn maybe. And let's say you're sitting on, just hypothetically, so that this fits the scenario, you're sitting on like a couple mil, right? Well, if you're sitting on a couple mil of PXDC, you kind of need to make sure the liquidity is there to get across to your other stable coins to be able to actually do your exiting. Or if you're the OA, you need liquidity to be able to move into PLSX if you just want to buy the crap out of it, right? So if you've got, let's say, $40 million in PXDC and the liquidity, what is the liquidity in Earn right now? Or sorry, not Earn, PXDC to PLSX and all that
$2
stuff.
$2 million.
$2 million. So it's like, if you got 40 million, you're going to slowly pick away at that. Yeah.
If they provided liquidity with, like this is the way that it would, like if they didn't provide liquidity with the PXDC they took out, then it would be very lopsided and it could cause some sort of problem. Like there's no infinite money glitch that would actually be perpetual here. But if they used it to provide liquidity for PulseX, PXDC pair, then that would be pretty interesting. But I think that would be the requirement. Otherwise, it would be really odd and could have unforeseen consequences.
That's a good point, actually. Be interesting because I mean, yeah, they'd be earning fees and be thickening up. All the fees would be just thickening up that pool, which would bind them together. But I guess if you're doing PXDC, if you're binding a stable coin more thickly to another, I guess, more volatile asset, I don't know if that would be the play. Anyways, I think you'd want to keep that relatively thin, just so you're not having the arbitrage to take so much effort to move to the other pools to even things out over time. I would wonder, but it's a whole theoretical conversation. I have a damn clue, honestly. So I think it's a cool idea, though.
Moondog says, loving this gift this morning. My my ETH EHEX yield from 9-inch, waiting for EHEX hex balance, just quadrupled. The EHEX, I'm going to ratio for hex rebalance. So, yeah, he's sitting in a good spot right there to move that little gain over. And of course, Viber Finance is in the house saying, let's go. Hey, Viber, good to see you. Yeah, we were able to hang out with some of the Gray Token homies here in Vegas and get to know them. That was really cool. Really cool. So, other than that, we got the Richard Hart's tweet. We've got the community's reaction to the tweet. But going forward into the halving in about, 5 weeks now to the halving, Bitcoin halving, and everyone wondering if this insane pump that's like 9 months early is sustainable. What do you guys think about this spike right here, and how long do you guys think it might take for the Ethereum ETF to emerge?
I think it's pretty amazing that Bitcoin is at 69,500 right now. Like, to say, I would have never guessed Bitcoin would have been at all-time highs in Q1 of 2024. That actually kind of blows my mind. As for the Ethereum ETF, I honestly have not been following that stuff at all. I just assume that it's probably not going to happen for a couple years. It just feels like they took so long just to get Bitcoin going, and now they're going to convince everyone to do the Ethereum one. And I feel like the Ethereum is a harder sell than the Bitcoin one, in my opinion. But so yeah, I just feel like the Ethereum ETF probably won't happen for a long time.
I think it could be the opposite. I think cryptocurrency ETFs could be the flavor of the week as early as 6 months from now. Like, we have a Bitcoin ETF and it's popular, and the people who control the money are making money off of it. And then they see they could make money off an Ethereum ETF. And then what's next? What's the next biggest thing after Ethereum? It was going to be Link. Eventually there'll be a dog with hat ETF. What's the barrier to entry once the doors are open? So obviously there's is it a security issue? But, if they say, yes, it is a security, please buy it. I think the traditional financiers who can see themselves lining their pockets because of it might push all this stuff forward. We might have a pulse chain ETF in a year.
I could see a Litecoin ETF after Ethereum. The Wall Street guys, and especially Coinbase, they hold so much Litecoin.
Oh, dear. Charlie
Lee freaking really gave it to them on that one, huh?
So Bitcoin is my largest bag. So a little bit of a Bitcoin max here. Yeah, it's pretty cool that we reached all-time high. It doesn't feel like an all-time high, given the last time we had an all-time high and the time between that and now and how much inflation we've had. So I feel like it needs to go higher for it to feel like a real all-time high. And there's just so many different factors this cycle. It's just different. I don't know where it's going to go. As for the ETF for Ethereum, I think it's another, people are speculating. So I don't really know. I'm not following that closely, but there are some very big addresses making moves on Ethereum, i.e. SackDaddy. I don't know if he is anticipating anything to maybe capitalize on what's that phrase? Buy the rumor, sell the news, maybe. But yeah, that's just kind of my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I'm in the same. I'm in the same boat as Yusuf. In terms of the Bitcoin price and Ethereum price, man. I mean, this like you said, Briz, like we're in Q1 and we're all time high for Bitcoin. Like I don't have a damn clue where this thing's gonna go. Like this is weird. This is like, for me, all bets are. I'm just gonna watch and just try to look for signs of anything tangible to give a pinpoint to, or to kind of give a reference to where we might be. But like at this point, man, I don't know anyone that really knows at this point. But the ETF I think is interesting for Ethereum because I think there was a couple of companies that actually applied for the Ethereum ETF in January, like immediately after the Bitcoin ETF got approved. And guys that I know who basically were telling me before the ETF got launched that, okay, BTC ETF is going to go. Like there's ads campaigns being built on Wall Street. Like there's so many packages being built specifically for the BTC ETF. And if I remember correctly, the Ethereum ETF was also a part of that as well in terms of getting those ready and starting to prep for that. And my understanding based on what I was told there is probably, like you were saying, Fast Abdul, like around 6 months is roughly what it will take for the Ethereum ETF. And like to what you said too, Fast Abdul, like it's exactly right. The BTC ETF has just gone so damn well, that how could the SEC and, all parties that need to approve not want to get their hands on another version 2.0 ETF of something that's doing this well? I think that would be huge for them just on that alone.
For clarity on these ETFs, like when we talk about approving the Bitcoin ETF, approving the Ethereum ETF, like we're talking about the United States of America approving a Bitcoin ETF. You could buy a Bitcoin ETF in Canada for more than a year now, and I'm sure it's the same in other big exchanges in big countries. So it's not like, it's not like a new idea, and it's not like it hasn't been done already. You can buy, I think in Europe, I haven't checked it, I think it's a terrible price, but you can buy a Link ETF. So these things are all happening right now. And we're just waiting for the USA and the majority of the money that is behind that to catch up. So I think the writing is kind of on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like what Yellowtail says here. So does Briss. The crowd and everyone are more aware of the cycles they might be front running. So they kind of like watched a lot more people had their eyeballs on the 2021 spike, and so they're like, okay, well, let's just beat people in and beat people out of the market. So we might have an even steeper crash this time, as people think that they're trying to beat each other out the doors. The Beach Well says Vanek and Ark. Go ahead.
If I could just mention on that, I also had this like dooming sensation that around, because I think that a lot of us are expecting a blow off top by Q4 of 2025, and then the bear market starts in 2026 ish. But because of these cycles and everyone's like so knowing about them, I could almost see like us having a much longer extended cycle going up as everyone gets out and the prices just like leave them behind. And then maybe 6 months later, everyone's like, man, I messed up getting out. This is like, of course, this is going like all time. Then they'll get in and then it'll freaking tank. So I could see a scenario like that playing out because of how much knowledge everyone now has about these cycles.
I've heard a few people say, or go ahead, Fast Abdul.
Sorry, I was just going to agree with Briz that I think when we start seeing things that seem really, really bullish for us, like when the Pulse Chain ETF comes out in the United States, that may be a top signal. I'll want to, maybe sell 10% of my bag, Go ahead, Crypto.
I was just going to say, I agree with both of you guys are saying, like, especially the how compressed things might be. you know, just because how irregular it is and how much knowledge there is out there. Like I couldn't really say it better. You know, I think everyone's too good at reading the history. So now history can't really rhyme, you know, like we're used to. I think it's going to be something different. I mean, the ETF and the economic energy even flowing in from the ETF and how much eyes that's brought into just crypto in general changes everything already. Because usually, you know, if you were to go and look at the statistics of when social media starts blowing up in terms of where we are in a cycle, like we are stepping into the zone in terms of social media adoption that reflects when we went past like 30K the last cycle for the first time, you know, and we're not even at the halving. That was like a year after the halving almost that those statistics started picking up like that. So I think, you know, this could be a super compressed and super dynamic year, but, you know, fall short as we, you know, go towards 2025. Like that's honestly at this point, I think what almost makes more sense to me, just looking at everything else right now, than, you know, anticipating that 2025 is, you know, regular in terms of historical, you know, poetry or rhyming, I guess you could say.
I like that. Luna says the only BTC I own is the wrap BTC on Pulse. And they're supposed to make a decision on May 23rd about the ETH ETF. Like that's the next time they're supposed to talk about it. Let's see here. Yellowtail says countries are accepting cryptocurrencies. So we're hearing a lot more about countries trying to figure out what they're going to do with their, you know, digital dollar or whatever they're going to come up with on blockchain or their private blockchain probably. And David says it's almost 1.6 now, the ratio to hex and PHEX, EHEX. So the ratio is 1.5, almost 1.6, turning your PHEX into EHEX right now.
I think we're up 56% on the 24 hours already, right? I'll just like shy of 3 cents.
Crazy.
It's the
Crazy.
combined.
Are there any projects or platforms you guys are excited about that are either launching or have launched and that are improving the ecosystem?
Like I said, my biggest thing that I like was that Earn protocol, but I hear there's other protocols launching that can help you get more from your farming.
Do you want to go more into that, or that's the gist of it?
I like to hear from Fast Abdul.
Okay.
Thanks for the setup there, Bruce. Do you mind if I share my screen, hexrayvision? I have something propped up.
Go for it.
Okay. So there we go. Okay, so myself and my partner Yellow Cake, we're building a copy of Convex for the Pulse chain. It's called 2Fux. It's built on top of the Fux exchange. It basically gives people amplified yield and voting power in that ecosystem. I won't go too much into detail on that. You guys can come check out my Telegram. But as far as opportunities, like here's one example, and this ties into what we're talking about today. So we're talking about like Hex from Ethereum. So this pool is all bridged over Hex from Ethereum paired with the Maximus DAO products that are also bridged over from Ethereum. So you're paying Pulse chain fees, right? And in this case, so we have Maxi, Lucky, Deci, and Trio. So, and then just Hex that's been bridged over. So between just liquid Hex and a 15-year Hex stake with 3 years, 10 years, and 7-year Hex stakes in between. And this thing is paying between 83 and 110% APR just to provide liquidity on things that are basically all the same thing. Like you have Hex paired with Hex paired with Hex, 5 different things, which is something you can do on the Fux exchange because it's a copy of a fork of Balancer V2. You can have up to 8 things in a pair with different ratios. But when you have something like this, we're going to have little to no impermanent loss on things that are very similar to each other. And you have these kind of crazy APRs. that are better than staking, honestly, right now. And these things go up and down. They're not constant. And you're getting paid in what I consider to be not a dump token, which is the PHUX token, but you're certainly welcome to sell it. It's liquid as soon as you get it, and you can claim once a block. So, all day long, you can press the claim button if you want, if you're participating in something like this. There's multiple pools like this. There's multiple opportunities like this where people can make money on Hex without staking Hex, but using what is essentially staked Hex to make said money. But you're 100% liquid. Like, you're not locked in any way when you participate in things like this. And my protocol, 2Fucks, is going to help people get to the higher yield levels. It'll basically, in this pair, it would bridge the gap between this 83% and 110%. Most people will get to 83, but if you use our protocol, you're going to be closer to 109, 110% on this particular LP pair. Now, liquidity providing is a complicated subject, so don't jump in. Make sure you know what you're doing. Guys like Cryptographics and Crypto Sloth and RH Max have courses on that kind of stuff. You read up on liquidity providing, but there's money to be made in more than just staking with Hex and all the other tokens in the ecosystem. And we got to face it, guys. Now it's not just Hex; it's Hex and friends, right? So, and I don't just mean the Maximus tokens that are effectively Hex in my eyes. I mean the things built on the Pulse chain that are good quality, not rug pull tokens, right? And they're now starting to be numerous and interesting. We have some quality things to consider. So, just another perspective that we can look at. Briz also mentioned the Earn protocol right now, which I think is worth reviewing. Like, you have an option right now to make here, let me just peek at my other computer screen here. Let's see what they're paying. 223% to stake your PXDC, which is the dollar coin you get from putting in PulseX into the Earn protocol. And then single-sided, just putting that dollar coin in, you have 224%. So effectively, it is single-sided PulseX staking, if you want to think of it that way. Because to get the Earn token, sorry, not the Earn token, the PXDC, dollar coin, you put in PulseX. And then when you get this PXDC, you put it back into the same protocol and stake for 222%, which again, it's not locked in any way. And you get paid like per block. Like, you can claim every 15 minutes if you want to, every 5 minutes, or once a day. There's some serious incentives. And that's going to pump, and probably already has pumped, the price of PulseX. So these are things people should pay attention to. Like, these opportunities change over time, but between right now, the plays are either the Fux exchange, and in about a month, when my protocol comes out, it will be the 2Fux front end for the Fux exchange. That'll be the big yield payer. And then right now, the Earn protocol is a big yield payer as well. So there's some serious opportunity that people can look for. And when we have crazy days like this, I think people should look for these safe plays where you can make a couple bucks holding instead of like trying to time the market or try to like swing trade on what's going on. If you're a pro, then yeah, go ahead, swing trade. Like, I made a couple bucks today. That's cool. I don't think most people should do that. I think they should look for these safe plays. You could be in stables, but via PulseX, leveraging your PulseX bag at a safe ratio. You need to understand how to do that. You have to go to the Power City Telegram room and talk to them, figure it out, read the white paper. But like, there's these yield plays either on Fox or on Earn today that are huge. It's just big opportunities that are much safer than what's going on, than pressing the sell button when something's already 50% down. So, take a look, learn what you need to do, and then check these things out.
Nice. David Gelfin says, may convert all pulse to EHEX, bridge out. EHEX meme on ETH going to be fire. And then Sylvan says, 2Fux is going to be huge game changer for amplified yield and voting power on Fux. And Danny says, I'll admit I was wrong, and Briz and Furu were right. EHEX is not supported by RH. PX is the only real hex. And Danny Boy says, is anyone else scared like me and considering EESing EHEX stakes?
I would not EES.
Don't do it, man.
Don't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even if you just left everything the same, you're EHEXing your PX, and you just left them, you didn't sell it, guess what? As of right now, the combined value is more than it was yesterday.
Does EES also calculate into the fees every day going back? So it's like still a really expensive gas fee?
Probably.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
like
I would have to assume so.
it's like it wouldn't even be worth it for me to do that.
Yeah, definitely not worth it. I will never early end stake any of my stakes.
I think David Gelfin actually raised an interesting idea that I hadn't thought of before. And I mean, the may convert all PLS to EHEX and bridge out. The EHEX meme on ETH is going to be fire. I mean, if you get on that rabbit hole for a second, I think there's something there possibly, because if you think about how many people do not like Richard Hart and the fact that he's abandoned it, there might be a meme around like not supported by Richard Hart, or there could be some kind of weird contrarian play that people decide to do. And I mean, we haven't even talked about BankX. I mean, as far as, I mean, maybe you guys didn't because I was so late. My bad. But if BankX either just gives up on selling, through LP and just dumps, and they get out of the picture in one way or another, you never know. I mean, it definitely EHEX becomes a meme coin at that point. It has obviously utility, but then it becomes more so of a meme coin than it has a community backing it necessarily, like full on like Pulse Chain RH community, I think. And that'll be interesting to watch. I don't know about you guys, but I could see something like that happening.
I think it'll give the haters ammo. They're gonna be like, look, see, he's scamming you guys. He just totally screwed you guys over. EHEX.
Oh yeah.
Eric Wall made a tweet today, and let me see if I can find it real quick so I don't misquote him. But it was pretty dumb. I mean, Eric Wall, right?
Mm. I mean, yeah, if I'm thinking about EESing stake, I think I would really only consider it. And this is me. I'm not saying to listen to me. I'm only just thinking out loud here.
You heard it here. He said the emergency stake all yours.
yeah, right here, right now. I think the only reason I would ever consider it is if like all my stakes were very, very long, and I already served like a significant portion of them already. I would maybe consider one or two, depending on how large they were and what I thought I could get out of them. But I would not freak out. You never know what things are going to do. This is a short-term blip downwards, and some of the weirdest things have done the craziest things. And so, we could see an abandoned ship moment followed by a mass adoption moment later, because people, you don't know what can happen. What if the OA just goes and is like, all right, I'm not supporting this here, ditching the coins, send them to the dead address. And then everyone's like, oh, this thing's actually decentralized now, because obviously that's their belief, right? And then now everyone's like, oh, there's no founder, it's fully decentralized, and I can get yield on this. Like, whoa. And then boom, who knows, right? Something like that could happen.
If the OA burns its hex, basically, which I prefer to see happen on both chains, then all the doors would open. Like, that is the reason that one of the main reasons anyway. I'm sure there's other political this and that, but that we're gate kept is, and that whales are scared to come into the ecosystem, is there's this giant wallet that, Hexicans magically trust, but other people may not, that holds the majority of the tokens. If the OA burns it and Hex is just a free floating, like literally completely decentralized cryptocurrency, then I think that would be pretty cool.
I mean, what if the point of the OA was not to necessarily protect the ecosystem, but protect the people who actually believed in it, so they could get in early enough so that when the OA then goes and burns the coins and the rest of the market comes in, they got the entry price that was so good that everyone wishes they had been able to get in, when the OA was still around. I mean, I don't know, man. Yeah. There's so many different ways that things could go.
And logically, that would happen on EHEX first, right? Because he's, right. If he's disavowed it, oh, this isn't mine. I'm going Satoshi. It's all gone. And like Briz said, like he said, like, oh, I won't be, or somebody said the OA will not be selling hex that is sacrificed for Pulse Chain, etc. Well, that could be the final conclusion. And man, would the chart ever pop when that news got out? It would be very interesting. And then he could go build a museum. It's kind of a Red Bull themed museum. It'd be great. I'll support it. I'll go there.
Yeah, like a Greek, ancient Greek style building with Red Bull cans instead of the nice, carved pillars.
Yes, yes, this is key. Yeah, this
Yeah.
is key.
Did you guys ever see my rendition of the Richard Hart Museum I made with AI?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
pretty
we walked
amazing.
it on our show.
Oh,
It
did
was
you?
really cool.
Nice.
Yeah, you took us on a walkthrough. That was a while ago.
Oh, that's right.
It's really cool. Really cool. Shout out to Scotty Utah, Danny Boy. Glad you guys are keeping it cool. Archie keeps talking about the bonding, how he thinks that the eventually the one price will pull up the other. It's just we don't know what ratio those are going to end up at, right? Eventually, we'll see a ratio that people expect to see between EHEX and PHEX, and maybe this is the start of that shakeout. Yellowtail wants a twerking stage in the museum. Much love to all the chat. And then Bobby Hexelrod's in the house. It says, it seems highly unlikely that RH truly abandons his loyal EHEX holders that have already endured a ton of pain. There's zero glory in that scenario. I can see that.
Yeah, it's always been my opinion that the OA won't let EHEX die. And Richard doesn't want all the guys who made long stakes to be hurt. So I believe there's always going to be value on EHEX. I just don't think the value is going to be as great as the pulse chain side. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, David Gelfeld says might even become a meme on Pulse Chain too. Speaking of the EHEX meme coin, but I don't know. I don't know if I think that we'll see a day when the OA will burn its coins, just because Richard Hart said several times burning value is kind of dumb, So I don't know if he's willing to do that. If he did it, then it would definitely change the entire landscape for the ecosystem.
The question is, why would he say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to interrupt. Like when he said burning tokens is dumb, like I don't know the exact context, but I agree burning tokens is dumb. It doesn't make the price go up, right? But because it's still like you need buyers, like a buy and burn. Well, that's a different. If it burns tokens and buys things, that's different. But in this case, we're looking at more like a political macro issue that would be solved by burning the tokens. So it's not about price go up. It's about making an even playing field and opening the doors that are currently, locked to us. Right. So I think it would be a different argument, but who knows?
I think one of the negative sides to potentially burning all those coins is that he then gives up a lot of power if the chain were to be forked by some unknown or malicious actor, because with the right marketing campaign you can convince people that the hex version that you just forked is way better than the version that Richard created. It's all just how you can get people to perceive it. So in my opinion, Richard keeps those coins just in case someone tries to fork it and take the community away from him, more or less. He can then take his coins and dump the crap out of that forked version of Hex. He can just take all the wind out of its sails and keep that wind in his Hex.
OX Will says ETH POW is the real hex, which I mean, he's got a good point there.
The sleeper.
No, it's fair.
Everyone's sleeping on it. Bit finesse. Good to see you, buddy. He says the OA could just lock up huge chunks of the supply for a few chosen assets over time and make those assets the most valuable things in existence. Glory. And then Luna says, did you see Alex's tweet about reevaluating what he's working on?
Yep.
I did.
Yeah, we did cover that a little bit. But
Mhm.
yeah, he
He's
mentioned
working
maybe we
on.
can do it real quick again, but like
Good.
he's definitely cooking something up right now. Between Hedron and Icosa on both chains, but I do vaguely him mentioning in a tweet, I may be mistaken, you guys can correct me, that he was also figuring out a way to be able for you to be able to stake eHex on Pulse Chain, which I thought was interesting. I'm really, would love to see how that works. But yes, he did tweet that he may need to go back and reevaluate things. So he'll probably go back to running a bajillion models, and we probably won't hear back from him for like another month or so. But I was excited because he tweeted like a couple days ago that it's like code is done, just doing a few more things. I was like excited to see what was going to happen, and I might have to wait a little longer now.
Luna said Magic Beard won't let us down. And Kirby says if Richard really wanted eHex dead, he would dump it to zero.
It's true.
I don't think he would do
He
that.
has the ability to just sell it to nothing.
Would the OA be able to wrap his eHex and move all of it to PHEX?
You
Yeah,
could move
can
it
do
to
that.
Pulse Chain, but it wouldn't be.
I mean, Pulse Chain.
Why not?
Yeah, just wrap everything on Ethereum and offer the wrap version over on Pulse Chain. That'd be one very clear signal that he's done with the.
You know what I thought was an interesting idea, and he could maybe convince people to move all their eHex to the Pulse Chain side, is if the OA created like a portal where you could trade 1-for-1 eHex to PHEX, only one way from Ethereum onto the Pulse Chain. I think that would be a clear signal of saying like, hey guys, bring your value over here. But I think that would have to take a lot of actual game theory thinking, because I'm just thinking like, all right, well, what if people just, I don't know. There's a lot of like loopholes in that, I believe. But I always thought that would be a good idea, is if the OA said, hey, for every eHex you send, I'll give you 1 PHEX. And the OA could do it.
You might have a little bit of a negative feedback loop there, because then as the price goes down, you can buy more and then you can get more on the other side, so it's like, if there's something there, if you could design some system that could possibly work, but maybe if it was like it had a window, during the next hour, the next 5 minutes, because you all are going to dump this like crazy I guess you would have people, you'd have people buying. I have to think about that actually. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but it might work.
I'm just wondering, like, if PHEX is worth more, then you could take your PHEX, buy a bunch of eHex, and then loop it back over, then sell the PHEX. But then I think what that eventually would do is just level the price to be 1-to-1. But I don't know. So
cool. All right. Does anyone else have any other projects or anything they want to bring up before the community that you guys have been working on or excited about that you don't think enough people know about?
I've got one I could share. Let me see if I forgot to present here. Share screen. Sorry.
The time limit I would have put on it would be like 15 years. Just let everyone get their eHex stakes done. And then after that 15 years, you're cut off. All right. You had your chance, people. You had 15 years to move over.
All right. You guys can see this. So the thing I'm excited about from an educational standpoint is this Tangang Academy. So this is a fork from an Ethereum team. I forget off the top of my head, but from Potgain, and they put together a ton of educational material, sort of help you learn more about DeFi and whatnot. And Bullish and crew put in a lot of work to sort of take that, fork it, and also update it to make it more relevant. And basically, is just handing this out to anybody that's interested. You can go through here as different levels of that you can kind of work on to sort of educate yourself in DeFi. And I think it's just an awesome source of knowledge to sort of help you get to that next level. And it's a bunch of trainings here. I believe it's all video format. I haven't had a chance to jump into it yet, but you can see here just going through all this stuff like how to provide liquidity, you know, yield farming 102, you know, just understanding, you know, certain aspects of DeFi all the way up to like level 6, which is pretty cool. And to get this, you know, you have to go mint it. But he basically made it mintable for a lot of people. So anybody that owns ink. So if you look at like the mint list here, how's this work? I click on this, you can see all these snapshots. So if you held any of these coins during the snapshot, you can go to the mint page here, you know, chaingangacademy.com, and mint this NFT, which will provide you access to all of this video and training material. And you can see here, I know ink was snapshot. Oh, there it is. So if you held ink in any of your wallets on March 1st, you can go claim this NFT, which will then provide you access to this educational material. So you can see here, Texan was a snapshot here.
How come
So
none
yeah,
of
I
my
think it's,
Tang Gang friends told me about this?
yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I know they could be a little controversial at times, but you know, they are putting in a lot of work and trying to do a lot of things to sort of kind of move, you know, the community forward and various things. And I think this educational thing is pretty cool, what they put together.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah, I've been trying to get I've had members of the Tang Gang on here, but we haven't actually had a Tang Gang show on Tech Talk, so I'm trying to put that together.
And look at this, only 761 have been minted, and there's 10,000. So for any of those, you know, in the audience that, you know, have had ink in their wallet or any of these other things, you know, it's a free mint. You can get this, and then it'll provide you access to all of this educational material to sort of help you level up, you know, get better at this. You know, we're about to enter, well, we are in a bull run, but, you know, it'd be nice to kind of go through all this and, you know, get better at this so you can do even better in this bull run. So, yep.
That's really cool. Thanks for sharing that. Has anyone else got anything else they want to talk about or bring up?
Yeah, I got one to share. I got a screen up here that we should take a look at.
There we go.
So this is the Omnis Dex aggregator by Tetra. This is a perfect product for a day like today where there's lots of action happening. Now, this is, you know, more for the pros, but, you know, I think people should understand this is here. This is limit orders, cross DEX limit orders for the Pulse chain. It's pulling from PulseX and the Fux exchange, which is, you know, the vast majority of the liquidity on the Pulse chain right now. And you could set your limit order and see what happens. So, you know, if I want to play it wild right now, I have 1,000 hex and I could set a limit order for 10,000 hex from Ethereum. So Pulse Hex versus eHex if I want to, or whatever the case may be. So when you have a lot of movement on the chart and you don't want to react emotionally, limit orders is a great way to do that. So like, even if you wanted to get out of EX, set a limit order for when it goes 30% up from what it is right now. Like, don't dump at the bottom. That's not a good plan. But like, maybe on a 50% pump, well, maybe that's not terrible, right? And the same thing for buying. Like, you want to buy on a big red candle automatically by putting in a limit order. So we have the technology on the Pulse chain to put in limit orders. The same as on Ethereum using this Omnis platform. It's just accessed via the Tetra website. Go to tetra.win and all the links are there. Go to the Tetra Telegram room. You can talk to the guys about it there. It's, you know, pretty serious stuff. And it does work. I've used it personally to do things like arbitrage stablecoins even. It's been good for that. But a day like today where you have these huge candles up and down, like this is where you can really win using limit orders with a product like this.
That's pretty cool. You could probably use that on the PXDX or PXDC like stablecoin.
Yeah, maybe.
That's fluctuating quite a bit. Like I think it just dipped to like 93 cents, and so you could, you know, and those it corrects itself, right? That's how the system does. You know, the way they designed it, so you could easily catch that, and then it wicks back up, and you're like, sweet, I just made 3% on
Totally. And you could do that with limit orders, like like bridged USDC or USDL or whatever you want, just like 1,000 USDL to 1,070 PXDC. And then if that order goes through, you made $70. And there's a bit of nuance to that because more than one person is playing the same game. Like you have to set some slippage if you want those ones to go through. But things like Hex today, like you want to buy, like get a deal on EX, like this is going to be magic. But yeah, those arbitrage things, like that's like, it's not as exciting. You're not going to get a 50%, but if you get a 7% arbitrage on stable coins, like that's free money.
Yeah, it reminds you like when USDL came out, it was rather unstable for the first couple of weeks until kind of redemption came in.
Yeah.
And redemption isn't, I don't think, enabled yet for PXDC.
Nope.
And so the stable coin is a little unstable right now, and you can kind of capitalize on those little swings back and forth. And having a limit order system makes it a little easier, so you don't have to be like sitting there and watching. But yeah, I'm also excited for what this team is producing in Tetra in terms of like automation. I don't know if you have an update on that, but like I want to start playing with that because I think it'd be great to be able to automate my LPs so I can keep a really tight range. And with these gas fees, I can just keep it tight and just have it automatically move and keep a really tight range. So I can earn maximum fees, which would be awesome.
Yeah, that's called Stratus, and that'll be the next thing they have coming out. I'm sure we'll see a test net for that pretty soon. And you'll be able to basically, have strategies where you add and remove LPs at exact times, or anything to do with yield farming, which is kind of my bag, like compounding, right? So let's say you're in something like that pool I showed you that pays 100% APR on Maximus DAO tokens, and you could take that APR daily and compound it back into the same pool to amplify your yield, by a lot, right? That 100% would probably, I'd have to do the math, but it would probably turn into 200% if you compounded, twice a day. It would be huge.
Yeah, it'd be super cool to be able to automate some of those things, which would be great.
Mm-hmm. So yeah,
we got people. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. You guys, are you still going?
No, I'm good. My camera's cut out here, but I don't know why.
Okay. Yeah, sometimes when I share a screen, I have to turn my camera on and off to unfreeze it. We have people mentioning the Forge here. The Forge and Curator are quite interesting platforms and communities that are working on the Launchpad and review process, things like that. And then Luna says, Tang Talk looks like amazing tech. Vet says, we met the team this weekend. Dracus are good people, a great product that will continue to have more utilities added on. And they'll also be at the Salt Lake meetup on April 13th. Tang Talk will be there and be presenting and answering questions there as well. She's a big fan of Drac. Spike says, what's the hope for ETH? Dank? Is Dank a coin on ETH?
I don't know what that is.
And Red Squirrel has the link here, omnis.tetra.run. Oh, you guys know what I heard about Red Squirrel? I heard that his diet is nuts. His diet is nuts, man. We got anything else you guys want to bring up in that people should be keeping an eye on or jumping in telegrams for or spaces? Nope. I'll plug my little stuff here, and then we'll go around the room. Let you guys show your projects and your socials. We're about a couple weeks done out from having our code finished, and we'll be going into audit with our project Anti-Gravity. You can follow that at t.me/anti-gravity saga, just all one word. If you guys want to get the lowdown on the art and the story there that we're putting together, and then also you can get me on hexrayvision, basically on all the medias. Go ahead, Fast Abdul. Tell us again where people can find your project, your Telegram, and keep up to speed with you.
You bet. So you can find me on Twitter. It's just Fast Abdul. And you can find me on 2phux.io. That's 2phux.io. And then from there, you can link to our Telegram, which is probably the best place to hang out. We have, daily voice chats and stuff like that. We'll teach you guys how to provide liquidity properly. Not financial advice, but we know what we're doing with these protocols, and we can help you understand ways to make liquidity work for you. So yeah, come check it out. And if you're interested, check out our sacrifice. You can see it on the hexpulse.info website. We've already raised over $800,000, but it's capped at 2 million. So we'll be done pretty soon. And the protocol should be out in 30 days, 45 days. We're just finishing up the details.
Awesome, thanks. And Briss, you have a car for sale, is that right?
Yeah, if anyone wants to buy a classic car, hit me up. So that's Fast Abdul. I'm Slow Briz. You can find me on Twitter or X.com, whatever the kids are calling it nowadays. Zoology. And I just wanted to give a little personal message tangent and say, I got you, buddy. I got you. I won. Dude, I'll pass it on.
Awesome.
He's I think he's camping right now, so he'll probably come back and
oh
see
my
the charts.
gosh. I wish I could see his face when he sees all of the happenings today.
You guys will have to have another another debate, I guess. But yeah, my name's Swizzle Sticks. You can call me Swizzle. You can catch me on Twitter. It's Sticks Swizzle. And then I just posted in the chat the education that the Tang Gang put together. So if you had any sort of if you had ink in your wallet on 3/1 or before, you should be able to go to that website and go to Mint and mint yourself an NFT, which will provide you access to education. I'm looking forward to actually diving into that. It's something that was sort of gated on Ethereum because it's rather expensive, those Polygons. And so there's another opportunity to go get this because who knows, once they run out, it may be another thing that's hard to get. So
Awesome. And Cryptographics, whose hoodie we actually brought to Vegas.
Nice.
What's up, bud?
Glad you still have that thing. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter and YouTube, the two main places. Just like it's spelt under on the little caption here. Crypto GRFX is the handle on Twitter, and same thing on YouTube. And yeah, I probably find me mostly on YouTube at this point, kind of neglecting Twitter on purpose. So yeah, YouTube is probably the place to be right now for anything I'm doing.
That's
at this point.
probably for the best.
Yeah. It was a sanity decision, check decision.
Twitter is toxic. It's tough.
Yeah, 100%.
One last thing. Luna mentioned Spark Swap for cheap fees into PC and Spark Vaults. Have you guys checked out Spark Swaps yet?
Spark Swap has some good bridging opportunities. They have a bridge from Pulse Chain to BSC, like Binance Smart Chain, and back and forth, and also to Arbitrum. So it's not a free bridge, but like those are less expensive chains. So if you're moving $500, $1,000 around, I've found that to be not a terrible way to move onto the Pulse Chain or off the Pulse Chain. If you're moving $50,000, then Richard's free, the Pulse Chain free bridge is the way to go. But yeah, they got some game. So if you use DEX aggregators, like I know Piteous, for example, and I think Omnis is going to catch up and have that on there as well, I'm sure. Then you can participate automatically with the Spark Swap pools. There's some opportunity there for sure.
Awesome. Thanks for filling up. So yeah, check that out, guys. As we do at the end of every Tech Talk, we're going to do our most awkward wave goodbye to the audience. We'll turn on a little bit of soft music. I want you to look terrifyingly into the camera and do an awkward wave goodbye. Y'all ready? Here we go.
It's so awkward.
Swizzle Six going. Swizzle Six is in quicksand.
It's so awkward.
Pastor Bill, Pastor
How
Bill's
long is this
very
going
awkward.
for?
Well, it's awkward.
That's true. I guess, yeah. Now that I'm feeling it, okay, now we're there.
Yeah, we're there. All right, love you guys. Thanks so much for being here. Oh, Briz has got his mask on. It's getting weird. Thank you so much for my guests coming on here. We'll chat soon. You guys are awesome, and we'll see you later. Bye.